Hello, welcome to Community Connections, a program showcasing community involvement brought to you by the Greater Kanawha Valley Foundation. Today we're going to talk about the Coal River Group, and our guest is Bill Curry, Chairman and co-founder of the Coal River Group. Welcome, Bill.
Thank you. Glad to be here.
So let's just start off. Who is the Coal River Group?
The Coal River Group as an organization is a nonprofit 501c3 river restoration organization. The Coal River Group is a lot of people working together in a 3-4 county region to restore the rivers and the streams that flow into the Coal River.
Now, I've heard a rumor that this all started because of a fishing trip. Is that true?
Yeah, we don't talk about it a whole lot anymore, but years ago, Bill Queen and I were good friends, good fishing buddies, and the way all this got started, we just decided to take a summer weekends and explore the entire Coal River. And we floated all 88 miles, caught a lot of fish, had a good time. And when all said and was done, we had so many people listening to our stories at our local bistro that we hang out at, that they wanted to go on the rivers. And all that went together. We said, well, you got to remember, the rivers are pretty dirty right now. They got a lot of trash in them. And they said, well, fine, we'll pick up trash we got. And one thing led to another. And today we got 600 volunteers. We got 300 members in our organization. We had probably 17 cleanups last year, and on and on.
Wow. So your organization is 10 years old, is that right?
That's correct.
Okay. So you're cleaning up the rivers. What else are you doing? Like, what all does that involve?
Well,
because I know that there's more, that you are cleaning up the rivers, but that is creating a ripple effect into economic adventures and opportunities for other people.
It is. I mean, we've evolved. I mean, when we originally started up, we didn't know what river restoration was. We just knew there was too much trash, too many tires in the river. Then we found out that there could be some kind of chemical pollution. So we had to learn how to and join with others to study the river environmentally. We took our own E. coli test. We found out that sewage could be a big problem, and we learned a lot about E. coli. We learned a lot about sewage, and we took that forward to the point that now we have a $24 million sewer program going into the most polluted area of the Coal River. We've got a brand new program to identify faulty and septic tanks with problems, and we're looking to address that with some funding from EPA. In other words, one thing's evolved into other. It started out being pretty simple. Now it's real complicated.
Yeah, and so you touched on it briefly, that it is not a small area. You're talking about a large geographic area that you're working with.
Yeah, let me tell you about, I mean, it's a fascinating area. We didn't understand originally. We're called a watershed group.
Okay.
And in the state of West Virginia, there's approximately 30 watersheds. And watersheds are geographic areas where every drop of water that falls within a certain circumference, if you will, goes down and flows out the same area.
I think that we have a map of your...
Great. You can see on the map, we actually have 3 rivers. We have the Big Coal River, where the Big Coal River starts in Whitesville. We have the Little Coal River. It starts in Madison. They flow together at the center of that graph at Alum Creek, or the Forks of Coal. And from there, they flow another 25 miles to the Kanawha River, which is the Coal River. So you got the Big, Little, and the Coal River. But within that, I mean, that's where the river, the water ends up. But the watershed, the mountains and all that make up that thing, there are 840 square miles of surface land, and there's 560 tributaries or creeks that have names, you know.
Wow, a lot to remember.
So, yeah. It's rugged territory, and we're in the heart of the coal fields. You know, we're surrounded by trees. I mean, you know, the state's 97% forested, and our rural area is right on that. So it's a fascinating area to work and to do something like what we're doing.
That's great. And I know that you do it with a lot of partners, that that you have a core group of volunteers, but you work with a lot of different organizations and a widespread group of volunteers. And I'm sure that you're always looking for new volunteers.
We love partnerships. You know, we learn, let me go back and say that we have a board of directors, and from the day one we've had we've had different board of directors, but basically, and we've been very careful. We wanted board members who were worldly, who knew what the outside world and had something to bring to our four-county region.
Right.
And we've been fortunate to have wonderful. We've got ex-mayor Milam, Richard Milam from St. Albans, been on our board from the beginning. Chris Radford, our president, used to do the Riverfest in St. Albans and worked for the Lottery Commission. And Virgil Helton, who used to be the director of the state finance department, and on and on and on. But it takes good people. And when you get those people together, then the best way to use your small resources, I mean, it's always difficult, is to go out and partner with people.
Right.
And we started out with I have to give credit where credit's due. The West Virginia DEP was just very supportive when we started. They liked where we were coming from, and they've been helpful. Actually, we get the original source of funding was called a Stream Partners Grant, which is funded by the West Virginia DEP, West Virginia Conservation Agency, and some others. And it helped us finance buying papers, pencils,
Great.
you know, copies,
Startup.
things that are real difficult when you're starting. And when groups like ours get started, then you have to grow. If you're going to survive, you have to raise funds. But the way to do that is to partner with, you know, part of the city of St. Albans, the state of West Virginia legislature, the West Virginia DNR. We're partners with businesses from Moses Ford to, we've got probably 100 different businesses that we work with on a major basis, and then individuals that support us.
That's great. And so we've talked a lot about the river, but you also have created some structure along the river, is that right?
Uh-huh.
That you have a building that you use. Can you tell me a little bit about that?
Yeah, I love to talk about it. It's one of the things we found about creating a volunteer group is that so many of your volunteers want to do things.
Right.
And in our case, we had a lot of tradesmen, contractors who liked what we were doing, and we ended up generating a funding basically, and Appalachian Log Structures donated us a 1,700 square foot log structure. They didn't donate to labor to put it up, but they donated that, and we're very grateful from it. But from that, we cut a deal, and we're partners with the Kanawha County Parks and Recreation Commission at Meadowood Park, and we obtained a lease for land at that location. And I could just go on and on about the number of people that have helped this business and individuals, but we have a core group. I call them the River Center team. Everybody's got a title in our organization.
Okay, good.
But the River Center team are guys that tell me, and gals, they say, Bill, I'll work all day, I'll do all kind of things for you, just don't ask me to come to a meeting.
Right.
They're not meeting, but they and so many other people have joined together in early in 2010, we began the construction and ended up building this beautiful facility. We call it the Coal River Group Science and Education Center, commonly referred to as the River Center.
It's a beautiful building.
We're real proud of it. We have the West Virginia Legislature was extremely supportive through their Community Participation Fund. They helped us with the ability to purchase stone for the driveways and labor for so much of the stuff and materials. It's been a good group.
That's great. So I guess you kind of use that as home base and the place where volunteers meet, which we talked about. But then when they get out and they start your cleanup, we talked earlier off camera about the cleanup and what you've been able to pull out of the river. And I have to say, you gave me some shocking numbers.
Well, everybody likes numbers, you know, but
well, they're visual. Yes.
Yeah, you can see. Well, the pictures are even more visual. I mean, you see a 11-year-old boy at Ashford in the middle of the river pulling up a tire that came off a big truck. out of the river. That's visual. And
So I think we have a shot of a very cleaned up, beautiful piece of property now, but that wasn't always the case.
that's right. That's right. And I mean, you could take hundreds of these shots on any one of the rivers, and you'd see the difference from 10 years ago. But it's field on the ground. You know, we're an inclusive organization. We're not exclusive in any way, shape, or form. We never turn down a volunteer. But we have planned activities where people can participate. And then I had to mention, we have a Big Coal branch, not a committee, but a Big Coal branch,
Okay.
a group of people that live on Big Coal. And we also have a Little Coal River branch, people that live on Little Coal. And those people help us by, they're the feet on the ground in those areas. And they put together their own cleanups. They put their own, I mean, they wanted to start a Big Coal River Heritage Festival. We helped, and they started it. Now it's a big event. Little Coal River wanted a Rivers and Ridges kind of a multi-sport event with the boating in the river and all. Now they're doing that. We have a Tour de Coal every year, which is a fundraiser, which we have over 600 participants in.
600 people, wow.
It's one of the biggest in the state. We've been doing it for 10 years. It's a fundraiser, and we have to talk about funding. I mean, we're always
That's
trying
right.
to raise money. But the Tour de Coal is just a hoot. It's a hoot. I mean, it's not a race. We started out just saying we want to get people on the river. If we got them on the river, they'll help clean it up.
Are they floating down the river? Are they paddling down the river?
Well, it takes all day, and we start at 9 o'clock. We put over 400 boats in the river at 9 o'clock every year. With that, there comes, you know, a lot of those are tandems, and there'll be 2 to 3 people in a canoe. And their idea is to have a great day on the river. And they float 12 miles to St. Albans, and they put in at Upper Falls at our center, float 12 miles down, and they take out at Gateway Shopping Center in St. Albans. It's just a big party.
Yeah.
And some paddle. Now we've got guys that'll go in early, and they'll be there done in an hour and a half. We got others that won't show up until after we leave at 5 o'clock, and I don't know where they are. You know.
Wow.
It's a fun day.
Yeah.
We try to have a lot of fun. I mean, bringing fun to volunteer work is critical, because these people, you know, they work for nothing.
Well, and they're working hard.
And they
so you
work
want them to
hard.
have
So
fun.
if you don't have a good time, why do it, you know?
So Bill, if someone was watching and wanted to get in touch with your group, is there a website?
Absolutely. And we're big both. We have an excellent website at www.coalrivergroup.com.
Okay.
And then we're really heavy into Facebook. Our Coal River Group Facebook site has over 965 likes or followers on it.
Great.
And we have another one called Coal River Kayak and Canoe Rental, which is our business activity that we produce.
So tell us just a little bit about the canoe rental and the business that has, I guess, evolved out of your cleanup work.
Well, you know, again, like I said earlier, I mean, everything has to do with money. If you're in the volunteer world or whatever, I grew up in the business world. I've run business all my life, so I've kind of put that onto the Coal River Group. We run like a business.
Right.
We're nonprofit, but we did, among our fundraising things, we acquired what's called the Coal River Kayak and Canoe Rental business last year. We run it with interns, and we're looking for interns for this summer.
Okay.
Kids in college that are required internship for graduation.
And they could contact you through the website.
They can contact me through the website.
Or Facebook.
Yeah, Facebook's an easy way to get to us, and we stay on that. But we need interns to help run this business, and usually they have to do a 10-week thing. But last year it was just absolutely wonderful. It was incredible. We had over 400 rentals.
Great. Well, I wish you success this year, and
Thank you.
Coal River events sound absolutely a blast. I hope everyone finds time to make their way to the river this summer.
And if anybody wants to know what our plan is for the next 5 years, we've just finished a 5-year vision summary.
Okay, and they can request this
They can request those. and we
through
can send them.
Facebook or through your website.
Absolutely.
Phil, thank you so much for joining us
Thanks
today.
for inviting me.
Thanks. Thanks everyone for tuning in. It's been our pleasure to talk with you. We look forward to seeing you next time on Community Connections, brought to you by the Greater Kanawha Valley Foundation.